What's up everybody? This is Dani Reardon and I'm really excited to welcome you to Tea Time number 2. This one is about how to always win. So this is coming from a very, very competitive person. I've been competing my whole life, and until I started doing bodybuilding shows, that's when I really started to reflect inside, and actually the biggest lesson I've learned is actually how to lose. Once I started competing, I realized right away that this is going to be a really long mental and physical journey. And I needed to really take it seriously and take matters into my own hands, because this is a very personal journey. You're the only one on stage, there is no team with you. So what you need to realize is that it's not the judge's fault. It's not your coach's fault. It's not the tanning people's fault. You are in the driver's seat of your journey and everything is up to you. So once you realize that and you accept that, then you can start improving upon your journey. So what I've learned about placing in shows, I've done really well at shows and I've also done really bad at shows. But what I've learned is that the placing you are awarded and the meaning that it holds is actually up to you, and it depends on the meaning that you give to it. What you need to do is actually turn your focus off of the placing and off of the actual show and turn it inwards, more on yourself. And I'm not just talking about the outside, I'm actually mostly talking about the inside. There are a lot of physical things that you can change. You need better shoulders, better abs, but lessons like believing in yourself, facing a fear, things like that are things that really shouldn't be overlooked and should be taken seriously, because those are bigger lessons than shoulder caps, in my opinion. The biggest lesson that I've learned, aside from learning how to lose, that I can relate to every single show, and what I really would like you guys to get from this is it's not always about the placing, because the truth is the next show that comes around, you can get beaten by your better body, you can get a lesser placing, but what's important and something that nobody can take away from you is who you become in the process. So that's really what I want you guys to get from this, and I'm gonna take these next couple of minutes to kind of tell you the lessons that I've learned and the really important factors that I use to keep myself positive and improving and really, really loving what I do. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys is to enjoy what you do. If you don't like to compete, if you don't like dieting, if you don't like training, if you don't like any of that, stop complaining, because nobody signed you up for this but you, and start enjoying what you do. Embrace it, embrace the work, because once that happens, then you can like to improve. You can follow your curiosity, and wanting to improve and developing a learning mindset will come effortless. And what I firmly believe and what I've realized within myself is that if you can't enjoy your means on the way there, then you're not going to be able to enjoy the end. Do you think Miss Olympia does less cardio and diets less because she's at the top? No, she's probably even dieting harder, knowing that girls like myself are on their way up to reach that spot. So if you can't enjoy the means, you're not going to enjoy the end. If you can't smile during, you're going to be frowning when you reach your destination. So enjoy what you do and embrace the journey, because sometimes the most fulfilling part of getting to your destination is what happens on the way there. So don't focus on the destination so much that you lose sight of all the great that's happening around you. And that leads me to my next point, and that is developing a learning mindset. By doing what you love to do and following your curiosity, it's very easy and effortless to develop a learning mindset, because let's say you don't place that well in a show, which is okay, but what you need to realize is the things that you can do better next time to help you place better in the show. And that's what you need to realize, not just, oh, this person beat me, that person beat me. No, beat yourself every time. And developing a learning mindset, you'll learn things you can do to be better for next time. So a little insight, my very first show that I did, I was awarded second place out of 2 girls. And I was on stage and they first gave me first, and I actually had to give her the first place trophy on stage, my first show. And you would think that that would stop a lot of people from competing, but I truly loved what it took to get to that point. So it didn't stop me, it actually drove me even harder to do better next time. And you know what? Next time out, I actually won the next show that I did. I got first place in an open class at 20 years old. But I learned another very important lesson that time, and I was actually in the wrong bathroom, and I didn't know my number was being called for the novice placement, and I actually won that class too, but I didn't get that trophy because I was in the wrong bathroom. So, lesson learned. Now at every show, I am up the expediter's ass, asking them, when do I go on? When do I go on? Because I don't want to miss it. So sometimes the lessons that you learn might be big, like knowing where to be before your number's called. It might be something like doing your makeup different. It might be something about your tanning, about exfoliating. It may be something about water manipulation or carb loading. There are so many different variables that can go wrong or that you can learn from to make you do better next time that shouldn't be overlooked just because of an undesired placing. I have learned that the more and more that I go through my journey as a competitor, the bigger and more deep the lessons get, because the physical stuff you learn very early on. You learn cardio, you learn chicken, you learn dieting, you learn that early. But the hard stuff, you learn as you keep going. So I encourage everybody to keep going, keep learning, and keep growing. And you know what? Be excited for new lessons, because you have something to improve upon for the next show. Be excited for that. Take it by the horns and learn and grow from that. Because once you know better, you can do better. Thank you, Maya Angelou and Oprah, for that one. But once you know better, you can do better. And I believe the only way that we fail and the only way that we make mistakes is when we know better and we don't do better. Or even worse, when we don't try. Because now that you didn't try, now you don't even know what you can do better next time. So in my opinion, that's failing. Not fourth place, not fifth place, not last place. Not doing it is failing. So learn and grow. My next point is doing your best. And I emphasize your, because you are the only person that matters. So many times, and I blame social media for this, people get so caught up in what everybody else is doing, what coaches they have, what supplements they're taking, what cardio they're doing, and you guys, it really doesn't even freaking matter, because the person that you're always worried about is never the person that you have to worry about on show day. Some freak will show up from overseas and blow everybody out of the water, and you wasted all of your energy on somebody that you probably got a better placing than anyways. What I want you to focus on is like the energy that you're putting into things. So if you're putting energy into somebody else's social media and to what somebody else is doing, that's less energy that you're putting into yourself. That's precious energy that's wasted negatively worrying about somebody else who's not worrying about you. So that energy, even if it's super tiny, can be directed to you to help you get better and closer to your goal. Think about running a race. You can't run a race looking backwards. You have to run forwards, and it takes energy away from your momentum going forwards by looking back. So personally, I actually unfollow all of the people that I'm competing against because, well, it really doesn't matter what they're doing, and it freaks me out to see them pop up on my newsfeed, because the truth is, everybody looks awesome. Everyone's competing, everyone has muscles, everyone has lean, especially when you're in the pro division. So I unfollow them, and it's nothing personal to them. I love you all. It's more personal to me, because I don't want my energy to be directed at them. It deserves to be on me. A cool little tidbit about Michael Jordan, is actually they did an interview on him on how he viewed games and practices and how he worked to get as good at everything that he did. Michael Jordan really focused on becoming the best self that he could be. And he said a lot of the other players never could catch up to him in his skill level because they were too worried about being better than Jordan, not being better than themselves. So skills like that, developing your own skills and honing in on yourself and your own practice, really helps you become the best version you can be. Also, what I want you to think about is doing your absolute best, even if it's just for a cardio session. How good does it feel to step off of that stepper and know that you just freaking killed it? Now, translate that to a whole day of doing perfect, not just on cardio, but on your workouts, on giving back to other people, on helping them with things that have helped you along your pathway to becoming awesome. And how good it feels to do your best after one day. Now string that together for a whole week. Now you've done your best over a week. Now string it together, a whole show prep. Now you're on stage in your suit, tan, knowing you did your best, knowing you left nothing on the table. In my opinion, what can you possibly lose at that point? You did your absolute best. There's nothing left to question. There's nothing left to worry about. So the only person that really can defeat you at this point is you, not a placing. Lastly, the most important tip I can tell you, and that I want to tell you, is to reflect. Don't just take a placing and then throw it by the wayside and just never improve from there. Reflect on yourself. Look within yourself before, during, and after you embark on this contest prep, because it's really hard. It's going to challenge you mentally and physically, and sometimes you're going to need to pull from that reason why you're doing what you're doing, to keep you doing what you're doing. So what I want you to try to focus on, something that I try to do, is to try to give meaning to every little thing that you do. And that's why a lot of times I get emotional, because things really, really mean a lot to me, and that's what keeps me going. So when you show up on that day and you look awesome and you feel awesome and you have a reason and a purpose why, it makes it all that much better. And something that's really taken me a long time to develop and to realize, and I've actually realized in the more recent years of competing, is that I have a body. I'm not a body. I have inner beauty, I have inner strength, I have inner confidence, and therefore it shows through outside. Then I have outer beauty and strength and confidence. So focus on what you have inside. And I realized that we cannot attain perfection because we already are. Everything is already perfect the way that it is. But what I have not attained yet is the best version of myself. I'm working on that every single day, and I can be the best me every single day. So in my opinion, perfection is the best version of yourself. So if you're standing up there on show day, the best version of you, then you're perfect. Too many times I see people in this industry start competing for the wrong reasons. They start competing for abs and for biceps, and they forget about all the discipline and everything that it takes them to get them where they want to go. Competing for those kind of reasons, maybe like just competing because your friends are, or whatever, or for the muscles, or for the body, or for the comments, or for the Instagram, whatever. Now, an undesired placing will take a bigger toll on somebody like that. I've been there. You guys, I've been broken down because of undesired placings and because I was competing for superficial reasons and nothing that was inside. And what I can tell you that I've learned from being broken down is that things need to be taken more seriously. You need to have a little bit more meaning for what you're doing. Instead of focusing on the placing and the losses, focus on the positivity and everything you've gained. So by focusing on the positivity and everything that you've gained, it's very hard to be defeated at that point. Think about why you began this journey in the first place. Was it purely just to beat other people? Because if it was, that's pretty negative. But if it was because maybe you were facing a fear of getting on stage, you were developing discipline, you were checking something off a bucket list, or you were learning how to believe in yourself, learning how to keep the faith when all odds are against you. Those things are the big lessons that need to be focused on and need to be concerned with. Not placing, not beating this girl or that girl, because you can always be beaten if that's your main goal. Okay, so about the reflection, sometimes people just take the undesired placing and they chalk it up as a failure, and then they never take a second to look at what they could have done better for next time out, or the positivity that they could have taken from it. And the only way that it's a failure is if you say it's a failure. That's it. The only reason you say it's a loss is if you look at it as a loss. I've lost before. I've gotten 4th place. I've gotten 2nd place. And let me just tell you, developing reasons and reflecting on stuff like that, you feel like you got first. And nobody can take that away from you. I don't need a trophy to tell me I got first. I won. That brings me to my next point. Sometimes the most important lessons that are going to be learned from a show, from a prep, can't be taught with a trophy. Please don't think that competing and training for first is not important, because believe me, it is. And you need to believe in yourself that you can attain that 1st place prize. But there also just needs to be more meaning behind it. With bodybuilding, there is only one winner. Sometimes there's 50 girls and there's only one winner. Sometimes it's your show and sometimes it's not your show. But if you can take the times that it wasn't your show, and you can learn and you can grow and you can improve from that, and you keep going and you don't give up, then one day it will be your show. It will be your time to shine. After 16 billion shows, or however many I've done, I can tell you that. I've only won a handful of them. I've only won about 4 or 5 of them out of like 16. So focus on the inside, not the outside. In summary, enjoy what you do. And if you don't enjoy it, get the hell out of there. Develop a learning mindset. Do your best, and reflect inside, mostly, as well as outside, because outside improvements need to be made too. But keep smiling because you love it, and keep focused on your vision because you believe in it. And I really hope that me telling you guys how I go through shows and my mindset during and after shows, I really hope that this helps shed a different light on the way that you guys look at competing, because it really has helped me. It's helped me stay positive, and it's helped me keep learning and keep growing, and it really helps me feel like a winner even when I don't get that 1st place trophy. Happy reflecting and competing, and may the force be with you.
That's a tea time rap. That's a trap.
This tea time, the quotes say, experience will give you wisdom, and sing from your heart. Pretty fitting.